How are you feeling now?
You seem big on feelings, Helen.
Yes, I am. So, how are you feeling?
I think we already covered this.
No, we haven't, not really. Your work gave you great responsibility from a very young age, didn't it?
Yes.
From the age of 18.
Yes.
Years of training. Classes, more training, more exams to pass, greater levels of responsibility. Learning your trade.
Are you in danger of making a point anytime soon?
You're not the only one who has been training since the age of 18. Although, unlike your job, the equipment I work with doesn't have a user manual.
Have I hurt your feelings? How are you feeling now, Helen?
I'm a professional. Like you.
Sledge walnut, Helen.
Did you write to the parents of your friends who were killed?
Yeah. Don't ask me how it felt.
Okay. The questions I ask help to give me a picture, a snapshot. I start trying to build an overall picture. Each question gives me a little more detail, a little more information by which I can continue to build that picture.
Your point?
This is why I ask these questions. You were telling me about your work. I'd like to know more, to understand more.
Well, it's one way to spend the night. Fine. Have you sharpened your pencil? It's amazing what you get used to. When there's been an explosion, you clear the casualties, then you clear any evidence. But the Taliban will booby-trap corpses. So you have to pick through body parts to check they're free from explosive devices. How sick is that? But it becomes normal. Every day. We were looking for suicide bombers. The heads usually pop off, next to the weak spot. Ears are just gristle. They always seem to get left behind. I have to do my job. You get used to it.
You've experienced things that most people never do. It's an extreme situation and it causes extreme reactions in people. I know you already know this, but it's worth repeating. There are ways of helping you. It'll take time, but...
I needed a fridge.
A fridge?
In Afghanistan. Hot in summer, remember? Fuck me, your memory. So I needed a fridge to store body parts. They got sent back to the UK for DNA sampling, like I said, except when we didn't have the right kit for that. So I sent whatever I could find, but I needed a fridge. I went to the medical centre and they told me that the quartermaster had got 40 fridges but had only given them one of the two they needed. One held for water for heat casualties, and they needed another one for drugs. You could say I'm somewhat annoyed. And there's no room for the sample I've recovered. The next best thing is the Colonel's water fridge. That'll do. I open the fridge, which is already stocked. Looks pretty with all the clean crystal water, but the salad drawer at the bottom is empty. Bit of a squeeze, but the sample fits. Go back to my desk and start my report. 8-0! Yes, sir? What's this? Bag of hands, sir. Suicide bombers, sir. I can see it's a bag of hands. What the chaff is it doing in my crisper drawer? Go on, sir. We all know you don't put fresh meat at the top of the fridge. I got a new fridge for the med centre after that. When did it become a fucking game?
We find ways to cope. As human beings, that's what we do. Extreme and prolonged pressure, we're not built to deal with that. No one is. You call it a game, but it's normal to find an outlet when you're under intense pressure. But otherwise...
Do you know what that's like? Every time I hear a loud noise, I want to hit the deck.
Alex, take a deep breath.
I keep seeing it in my head, over and over. Can't sleep at night. Sometimes I'm too fucking scared to close my eyes. How pathetic is that? I can hear the voices all the time. Hey, and you know what? Nobody gives a shit. You read about it in the papers. Oh, another 19-year-old got blown up today. And everyone goes back to reading the fucking papers. Nobody cares. Nobody.
It's okay, Alex. You're safe here. You're safe now.
I don't know who I am anymore. I'm ashamed. So fucking helpless.
You're still you. But you need some help.
No one can help me. I should have died out there. Feel like I did.
Well, that's not true. You feel so much. That's why it's hard. Because you're trying to deal with all these intense feelings by yourself. Except that you're not dealing. You're just trying to push them away. You're pushing everyone away. Let me help you. I can help you.
It costs £100,000 to replace a soldier. A 21-year-old sergeant can be in charge of £1.4 million worth of equipment. It costs £4 million to train a fighter pilot. A tornado costs £30 million, £40 million. Men are cheap to replace.
How does that make you feel?
Do you want to know how I fucked up my shoulder?
Yes, if you'd like to tell me.
Well, I didn't do it shaving, did I?
Is that a rhetorical question?
So you are paying attention.
Of course.
We'd had a shout, and I'd already neutralised one device. We're working our way up the main road, and Gav was leading the way with a metal detector. Ryan was second as the coverman. Our Turk, Backtash, was talking to Nick, and we had about 20 minutes of workable light left. Then we saw an ANP roadblock.
Afghan National Police.
I thought they were probably just stopping people travelling up the road because of IEDs. It was crisscrossed with barbed wire and... Oh, crap. What's going on? What do they want? 0 for Brimstone 3-1. Alpha. ANP roadblock ahead.
Brimstone 310. Proceed with caution. Over.
Brimstone 3-1. Roger. Out. Ben was walking near me and Dave was infantry escort. Where's the Turk? Bagtash, mate. Go and have a word. See what they want. So Bagtash goes to speak to the DMP boss. Seem to be arguing about something, but it's hard to tell. We're all getting a bit edgy when Bagtash came back. The AMP boss had told him that there were many bombs in the road, very dangerous. Fucking hell. We already knew that. Just wanted to know if they were going to let us work. Apparently they were very happy to see us. At least that's what Bagtash said. The road had been closed for 2 days. Made the decision to get to work. But I told Dave to keep an eye on them. Started to move into position, but 2 of the AMP started arguing. Then one of them was shouting. He turned his machine gun around and... Dave died instantly. Stepped on a pressure plate. Ryan was caught in the blast. He took 2 days to die. The bastard who shot me was Afghan police. Killed 4 of his own before the lads took him down. They even got a nice cosy name for it. The attack is called a green on blue. These are the people we're trying to help. You can't trust people or let them get close to you. They fuck you up.
That's not universal. Not everyone.
I heard that Backtash lost an arm.
But he survived.
I should have died. Why was it Dave and Ryan? They were married, they had families. Should have been me.
You've been trying to shut yourself off from all these difficult and confusing emotions. You feel guilty for surviving. That's not unusual, and there are people who can help you.
What difference will talking make? Won't bring them back. Tick-tock, Helen. Enjoying the performance.
What do you mean?
Do you really think that you know me now? Are you so fucking arrogant? You're talking to me in a fucking police station. You are the enemy.
I'm not the enemy. I want to help you.
You work for them.
I'm here to help you.
Patronise much, Helen. If you really believe that, you're either delusional or terminally naive. Maybe you should see a shrink. You're part of the system. You are the system. Sitting there with your notebook and your fancy terms, Alexei fucking Thymia. You think you're playing me, but I've been at this game for a lot longer than you.
I'm not playing any game.
You can never understand who I am and where I've been. You have no way of knowing what will actually help.
Then help me to understand.
You can't! But, seeing as you want to play the game...
Okay, let's cut the bullshit.
Helen, I'm shocked. Now you're using harsh language. You'll be hurting my feelings next.
I think I can help you, or someone like me. But that policeman out there,
Are you afraid of having your own opinion?
Not at all. I'm quite aware that yours is a typical military response, refusing to ask for help or even acknowledge that you need it. Oh, heaven forbid you actually get past your own ego and realise that there are people out there who have the knowledge and expertise to help you. Oh, you'd like to believe that your situation is unique, but it's not. Each person is different and responds differently, but there is a correlating thread.
Is that the best you can do to convince me to talk to you?
I think there's a part of you that's enjoying this.
Enjoying? Fuck's sake.
Yes, playing with me, trying to beat the shrink, but it's misdirected energy.
Well, here's something else for you, Helen. I'm going to do a little mind reading now. You'll like this. Let me guess what your copper friend said. Wait. It's coming to me. Yes. I've seen it all before. He's working his ticket. Soldiers make a fuss over nothing. Am I close? Basically, Helen, he doesn't give a shit. If I'm charged, he'll be happy. If I'm not charged, he'll be happy because he wants to sell free for the next customer.
You've been honest, so thank you for that. So I'll do the same. 1 in 10 prisoners in UK jails is ex-military. 1 in 10 homeless people in the UK is ex-military. That's about 9,000 people. Those are facts. I'm not a mind reader, but I see 3 potential scenarios for you. You walk out of here, carry on doing what you're doing, and one day, not too long from now, you have another outburst. You start a fight that you don't finish and you're arrested. You've got a record now and you're out of chances, so you end up in prison. You lose your home.
I bet you're fun at parties.
Or maybe you leave here, then drink every day. Muscle deterioration and energy loss. Dull, constant pain in the lower back region, bowel problems and delusion, followed by acute renal failure caused by liver failure. So you've drunk yourself to death in a couple of years.
I'm sensing a theme.
Or you accept that you need help. You ask for help, and you make a choice to choose a different outcome from those 10% of men in prison. You accept that there are trained professionals who do give a shit and can help you.
I like your view of the world, Helen. It's so rosy.
You have a choice, Alex.
I used to think so.
You keep telling me that I don't understand. Make me understand. Tell me how you feel.
Do you like war films, Helen? You can't handle the truth. I have neither the time nor the inclination to explain myself to a woman who rises and sleeps under the blanket of the very freedom that I provide and then questions the manner in which I provide it. I would rather you just said, thank you.
Jack Nicholson was great in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest as well.
But that's your favourite film?
What's your favourite film?
Ray Winston in Love, Honour and Obey. Fixed minutes! We watch a lot of films on tour.
I want to help you, whether or not you believe that.
Do you think you know me any better now? You should have some interesting notes to write up. Something for your next book. Could be a bestseller. The bigger the fuck up, right? You're intelligent and doing your best in a fucked up situation, and you offer your knowledge of the effects of stress and combats.
Everyone is treated on a case-by-case basis.
It's a nice theory, Helen. I like the world you live in. So easy. Stick tab A into slot B. We're not trained to cope, only to survive and go on to the next task. The shrinks that select us know that we're the type that would never back away from a fatal task. I'm also sure they know what the work does to us, how it's like a slow poison working its way into us long after we've stopped operating.
I do understand that the long-term effect of combat stress-related injuries...
Shall I list them for you? Clinical depression, raised anxiety levels, flashbacks, phobic disorders, and paranoia, OCD, bipolar illness and depression, drug and alcohol abuse, PTSD. That's fashionable.
Yes, that's a pretty comprehensive summary of the health problems.
Or just rewinding past events once you're out, thinking, I could have been killed. What the fuck was I thinking? That device was a gnat's balls away from detonating. But even when training takes over, it's an accumulation of what-ifs. No one is infallible.
It's not uncommon to re-experience events.
One of my young soldiers, guy I trained, eventually he moved on and he became an operator.
Like you.
Like me. I remember telling him good luck when he progressed from junior to senior operator.
Do you believe in luck?
It's a polite thing to say when someone gets a new job, Helen.
Thanks for the tip.
Anyway, he did his tour in Afghan. Next time I met him, we had a few drinks. Showed me his tattoos. Huge great things all over his body. He'd pretend to be drunk and show a fat wallet to try and get mugged. Then he'd destroy those who tried it on. I told the regimental SAT that this lad was in need of help.
SAT?
Senior Ammo Tech. Our equivalent of the normal Army Regimental Sergeant Major. The last word in technical competence because we do the job our whole lives. Officer equivalents are just hobby badges in comparison. Do you know what they say about the theatre of war? All the best seats are high up and at the back. But not all officers are knobs, just by the law of averages.
But what did the SAT say about your colleague's problems?
He said he knew.
Did he get any help?
What do you think? They medically discharged him too.
I think I can help you, if you let me.
You keep saying that, but unless you can consider the gross horror of seeing a dismembered body, you're not even close. I've been close. We are the shrink that goes inside the head of the psychopath. We're trained to think like a terrorist. Have you ever thought about that? The person making an IED only has to be lucky once. I have to be lucky all the time. I have to think how they think. Why would I talk to you?
I know I can't solve anything today, but we can make a start, together. It'll help you.
There's that dodgy memory of yours again, Helen. I tried talking. Remember? Remember that NHS shrink I saw? Isn't that in your nice, neat records? He said that the main coping strategies used by soldiers are drink, sex, and violence. Do you think sex would help me? Maybe some sexual healing, doctor.
Your therapist mentioned typical coping strategies. Temporary ones. But they're not solutions, as you well know.
So that's a no.
Did he say anything else?
He was supposed to be some sort of expert, but he didn't know his arse from a hole in the ground. He'd never been where I've been. Tried to give more drugs.
Lustral.
It wasn't worth the buzz for to the sessions. To leave you out to dry.
Who?
Them. The army, the MOD. They can all kiss my hairy arse. You know what? The fucking government take away benefits from guys who've had their fucking legs blown off if they can walk too well on the prosthetics. What the fuck is that about? We're thrown on a scrap heap. And all for a bunch of tossers who don't give a shit. People you're supposed to be doing this for. The people at home. You! I hate them.
Tell me what happened when you got home.
What's home?
Back to the UK.
I was at Selly Oak for a while.
After the attack.
Shaving-related injury. Then I came back to London. Back into the loving hands of the NHS.
Are you still having any treatment?
6 weeks between physio appointments. No, I don't bother.
Counselling?
No way.
Why not?
I told you, I can't talk to those people.
You're talking to me. There are people who can help you. Everything you're feeling, other people have gone through it. They're specialists.
That's just bullshit. Can't even rely on myself anymore, let alone anyone else. Can't walk down the fucking road without looking at the ground. Looking for the signs that there's a fucking bomb in the park, under the pavement, for fuck's sake. The only way I cope is to drink until I can't feel anything.
These feelings, these reactions, you can be helped. You can find ways to lessen the impact so that they don't control you. You need to talk to someone the way you're talking to me now. These feelings, they're like poison inside you. An infected cut. You said so yourself. You need to clean it out, and that hurts. It burns, it stings. But it's what you need to do to start coming back to life.
Is that shrink speak?
We all need a purpose. A reason for getting up in the morning. It's the truth. The real truth, not Hollywood's version of it.
The truth. ATOs, if we live long enough to get a fucking medal, it's a non-operational award. Because we're not considered to be working in the presence of the enemy. That's fucking funny, isn't it? Do you know what OBE stands for?
Order of the British Empire.
Other Buggers Effort. And if you shit on enough of your lads, you can get yourself a lovely pat on the back. Time's running out, Helen.
Alex, we can take all the time you need. You have to let people help you. Let your friends help you.
I can't stand being around me. I'm not going to inflict myself on my friends.
You're not giving them a choice by staying away from them.
Can't even do normal stuff. I have a fucking panic attack going to the supermarket. It's always the bloody cereal. Colours blur into one. The strip lights get to you, and I fucking hate them. Can't make a decision. How fucking stupid is that? I can defuse bombs but not see which cereal I want. So you bin the trolley and walk out. At the supermarket's entrance, they have one of those hot air blowers. I could feel it on my face. Walked out to the supermarket, but it felt like I'd walked outside in Afghan. I could feel the sun burning down. Can't see the cars or the car park. Just sand. Desert. Took me a few seconds to get a grip of myself and tell myself it wasn't real.
You could talk to your friends.
Yeah, well, it doesn't go so great when I do see them.
Why?
You know what civvies say? How are you feeling? Just like you're doing. For fuck's sake. What's it like? And they warn you it's a lonely walk. I am feeling it. It's the most alone I've ever felt in my life. Up to that point. My senses are heightened and I'm taking it all in. You're insulated in the bomb suit, remoted somewhere from the outside. What am I supposed to say to normal people? Do they really know how it feels to wipe off bits of the guy who was standing next to you?
Tell me about last night. It says in the notes that you were out drinking. By yourself?
No, with a mate, Martin. Let's just say I don't think he'll fancy having another relaxing pint with me anytime soon.
Well, I don't imagine you getting arrested was the highlight of his week, but if he's really your friend, he'll try to understand. If you give him the chance.
Yeah, right.
How do you know him?
We went to school together. He's such a tosser. Got no idea how to pull women.
And you do?
I've had my share.
Lucky you.
Jealous?
You're divorced?
Well, let's call it happily decree absoluted.
And there's no one now? No one at home? You didn't get married again?
Turkeys don't vote for Christmas, Helen.
That doesn't necessarily mean you're a vegetarian.
People in the trade, my line of work, there's a tendency to keep the widows in the family. It's not unknown for widows to remarry another ATO.
Why's that?
We know they can take it. Being married to somebody in the trade.
Why don't you try and see some of the people you served with?
You mean the ones that aren't dead?
Not helpful.
When infantry units deploy overseas, they stay together when they get back. It's not like that for us. We'll train with a unit for months before we're deployed, but as soon as we get back, we're split up. Sooner if you've been shot.
Look, I'm not a specialist in what you've been through, but I can see that talking to people who have been through it is important. I can put you in touch with some names, people who are trained to help you.
Have you had enough of me already? I get that a lot. Oh, well, it's been fun. Is this what they call speed dating?
I'm saying that there are people out there who are trained to help you.
Yeah. Fucking useless.
How much movement have you lost in your left hand?
Well, I won't be playing the piano.
Did you before?
No.
Funny.
I know.
Is that why you were medically discharged?
You thought they kicked me out because I'm mad.
That's not a term I use.
How about nutter?
No.
Barking? Loony? Eccentric? Psychotic? Insane? One accordion short of a polka band. A few shades beyond blonde. Sorry.
How much damage was done to your hand and shoulder?
We had one guy who worked for years with one hand and a hook after the other one was blown off. But put it this way, nobody wants a bomb disposal expert who has difficulty buttoning his own fucking shirt because his hands are shaking so much. The EOD are funny like that.
Is there anyone else who appreciates your sense of humour?
Not my ex. We split up before my last tour. She thought I was a cold-hearted bastard. But it was the opposite. Couldn't turn the feelings off. And I didn't want her to hear all that shit. No one needs to have that in their head. So we just stopped talking.
Are you in touch with her now?
No. Love is a mental illness. Isn't that what they say?
Alex, I'm concerned that...
You worry too much, Helen. It'll make you ill. You're looking a little peaky. Long night. You should get out more. Mix with normal people. I'm told it helps.
Well, presumably, after 21 years' service, you'll get a good pension.
I was 9 months from a full pension when they kicked me out.
And your medical pension?
That hasn't come through. And I don't think it'll be coming any time soon. Especially as, like just hundreds of other soldiers, they seem to have lost my medical documents. They tie up in fucking paperwork. Probably hoping we'd die of old age or boredom.
I can refer you to someone who could help you with your pension.
Do you think I give a fuck about a pension? I'm 41. What am I going to do with all my life now? Nothing. I'm rubbish. Useless. On the scrap heap. I'll live for my job. It's a fucking addiction, and without it, I'm nothing. They don't prepare you for that when they fucking train you to be so single-minded and focused.
There are many ways you could contribute. You could retrain.
As what? When you do your resettlement, they want everyone to be plumbers or electricians.
What do you mean?
Resettlement is a farce. Some retired ex-officer with no knowledge of the real world because he never left the forces. All they have is plumber, electrician. Just go and do your menial job so we can wash our hands of you. So retraining? Yeah.
You could. The organisational and management skills, I mean.
Yeah, a thumb-up bum civilian with no responsibility. What about a fucking lollipop man? Yeah, that would be good, wouldn't it? Dive into the ground every time a car backfired. Operators enjoy testing themselves, working at optimum mental capacity. But now I can't think. I can't focus on anything. How the fuck am I going to retrain for anything? I don't have any authority, no control now. Maybe I was sacked to save the MOD a pension, like I said, and there's nothing to do with my mental state. Take your pick. Doesn't matter. I can't turn my brain off. I can't. And the drugs...
Okay, let's talk about that. The arresting officer believed that you'd been taking illegal substances. When did that start?
I don't do it that much. Bit of speed sometimes. Just so I could cope with going out and seeing people. Prefer dope. It's everything seen further away. Like it's not part of me anymore. Or drinking till I pass out. That works too. Want to try it? I've had a long night. Fancy a drink after? The pubs will be opening in a few hours. You're running out of time, Helen. Clock's ticking. Tick, tock, tick, tock. Feeling under pressure. Need to get the job done before you run out of time. Tick, tock. You're looking a little stressed, Helen. Tick, tock. Maybe you need a holiday. Get away from it all. You're spending too much time with the crazies.
I'm sure you realise that self-medicating with alcohol and illegal substances are just short-term methods. I wouldn't even call them solutions, because they're not.
How long did you say it would take me for me to drink myself to death? 2 years. Could I do it in less?
That's not helpful.
Seriously? 6 months? Less?
Let's focus on the problem at hand. Your arrest.
I don't know. I think drinking myself to death would be a problem solved. Time's up.
What?
They're not going to charge me. They've run out of time. No further action.
Alex, let me help you.
Do you think I'm at risk of harming myself, Helen?
Possibly. Probably.
Are you going to section me?
If I do that, it could make things worse.
Then I'm free to go.
Yes, but...
Bye, Helen. It was a blast talking to you. But places to go, people to see, beer to drink. You know how it is. Thanks and all that, but this is as good as it gets. People like me don't get fixed. But we learn to live with it. Or we don't.
Alex, wait. Take this. My card. Please.
Oh, Helen. The personal touch. I like it. Do you make house calls too?
This is my office number. Please call me.
For a date or an appointment?
Please. Just call.
Better crack on, Helen. I mean, Dr. Ashton. Be safe. Look out for the nutters. Don't forget your umbrella. There's a storm out there.
Come on,